What is going on? How is everybody doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Risen Fallen podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson, and if you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction. If you're not feeling good about where it's at right now, at least having the confidence knowing that you are moving one step, at least one step, 1% closer every single day to the person you'd like to be, the life you'd like to lead, etc., etc., etc. And we're just going to jump right into it today. You know, if I showed up to a job site and I started framing walls as a carpenter on top of like a cracked, jacked up, all messed up foundation that was broken apart, most people would look at me and call me an idiot. They'd say that is exactly what you're not supposed to do. You have to completely, rebuild or at least like reestablish some sort of a foundation. You have to structurally make that sound before you can build on top of it. And life is literally no different whatsoever. And, this is something that I've had to come to terms with rehabbing my shoulder. If you've listened to this podcast before, you probably know. Recently, I got shoulder surgery done. I had a bank cart slap tear or whatever in my labrum. And so they had to go in there and surgically repair that. And that was fun. But now we're a couple weeks out since surgery. It's, I think, week 3 right now. And, doing rehab, rebuilding my shoulder, that is literally no different than the exact same scenario that I talked about with the foundation and the cracked foundation and building walls on top of that. If you it's not rocket science, right? You got to rebuild the foundation, make sure that the joint can move properly without resistance, without bearing any weight on it, and making sure that it can just kind of move around properly for a few weeks, for a little bit before you start to add resistance and then get back into, doing all the things that I was doing before. It's not like I can just it's a mental barrier where it's like, no, if I really focus and really think about it and really, push myself past it, use enough discipline, it's not like I can just start ripping pull-ups or chin-ups, or maybe I can. I don't know, but my surgeon recommends not doing that. So I'm going to listen to him. I don't appeal to authority very often, but, in this situation, I think that that's kind of the best course of action. A lot of the times, we are in situations, when you do home renovations and restoration work or anything like that, where somebody wants some water damage fixed or looked into or whatever it is, and then you open up the wall and the rot's gone a lot farther than you think, and you really do, it sucks to explain to somebody. And, I guess mechanics kind of have the same situation all the time. And there's honest ones out there and there's dishonest ones out there. Contractors are no different, But there's definitely situations where you have to explain to somebody hey, I can't just patch this up. Not only is my conscience not going to be all right with that, but legally at this point, I don't think I'm able to do that. And now that we've seen this, we got to assess really how much repair we have to do. And that is another perfect analogy, because a lot of the times, we're dealing with trauma in life. Maybe it's physical trauma, mental trauma, spiritual trauma, whatever it is. And, we just think, hey, it's not that bad. It doesn't impact me on a day-to-day basis as much as maybe it really does. A lot of the times we're in denial of those things, or we just blame it on something else. We think we're the exception, and we think that we can just skate past all of the, the healing and not acknowledge the damage that's been done. And a lot of the time, the same way that with houses, when you're looking into doing some rot repair or water damage or whatever it is, fire damage, anything, you really have to open up the walls. You really have to open up and see really how much damage has been done and acknowledge it, take inventory of it, maybe document it, take pictures, snapshots, I don't know. And really just to be able to know how much repair needs to be done. And, there's been so many times where as a carpenter, again, it's easy for me to kind of make these metaphors, and I hope that they kind of help you guys. Maybe they're good analogies for you to help you kind of understand, I guess, where I'm trying to go with this. But, there is so many times where you open up something that's maybe like a deck on a roof or something like that, where there's just like a gross amount of rot and it's starting to get into the house, and you start opening it up, and then you're like just crossing your fingers. It's like, okay, will the rot stop here if I cut like this section of the wall off? And then you cut that section of the wall off and the rot keeps going. And you finally get all of it uncovered, and you're looking at all of it and you're thinking, dude, this is so much work. This is so much like shit to deal with. And physical and mental and trauma that we deal with. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that homes deal with when it comes to rot, is that rot will spread if you don't deal with it. It will continually, just grow and grow. The problem, if it's not corrected, then it's going to build up and compound and seep into different layers and different floors of the house. Trauma is no different. The longer you let it sit there and fester, the deeper down you tuck it in, the more it's going to just grow and grow and grow like mold. Like everybody's seen those videos of like the rotten orange that they put next to beautiful looking ones, and within like a certain time frame, whatever, the mold slowly, you can see like the rotten, what do they call it? The spoiled apple spoils the bunch. The rotten apple spoils the bunch. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, I feel like that's the way it works. Is the longer you let trauma sit within you, and the deeper you tuck it down, the more it's going to amplify that. The more and more that is going to compound and grow like mold, right? It's going to spread like wildfire. And really, the best way to start dealing with it, the same way is like when you have to build something, and it seems really stressful, and it seems like there's just like, man, this is going to take forever. There's so many steps I have to take, note of and be aware of, and all these different things that are going on, all these different factors. And it's like, well, the best way to do it is just start at step one and just take it one step at a time. Get as far as you can, in that time frame as you possibly can. And that's, you might not get to step 10. You might not get to step 20 today. Maybe it's just about getting step 1 done. Maybe it's just about getting maybe you can bang off a couple steps. But, anytime you're looking at a task that's daunting, like, fuck, I've had all this shit build up in my life, and I fucked my whole life up, and I just feel like, there's nowhere to go. It's like, well, you can make one positive step today and let that carry you into tomorrow. Maybe we can make one more step. Maybe even on the third day, you can make 2 steps that day, and that's all really you can do when you're dealing with a daunting task of, whether it's at work or whether it's like in the inner work that you have to do. It might seem like a big deal. It might seem like a daunting task, but really the reality is, no matter what, whether it's a physical problem, a mental problem, or whatever, all you can do is just tackle it one step at a time. Like literally just get one step closer. And the thing is, you try and skip steps, and you try and build that the walls on the cracked foundation. You try and rebuild something without actually taking care of the integral part of it. The more you're going to continue the cycle of whatever you're doing. If you're in debt and you have issues with consumer debt, and you're just kind of living without your outside of your means, you never develop that discipline. You can make more money every single month, but the habit's going to continue. The habit of living at the surplus is going to continue. You can wish and pray for a better relationship, a better partner, someone that gets you better, someone that understands you better, but you're ignoring, how you could express yourself better, how you could actually be a better partner, and how you can build a better relationship based on a better, healthier foundation with the one that you have with yourself. Learning what boundaries are, learning how to actually communicate what your triggers are, and how someone could help you out, or why they can help you out, or whatever it is. If you don't build that foundation, in any aspect of life, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your career, whether it's your own mental health or your spiritual path or whatever it is, if you don't understand and really master the fundamentals and build a strong foundation, nothing else matters. Everything could topple in an instant. And you see that all the time in like debate videos, or, all those ones that, when people go on college campuses and they sit there and they debate with somebody, but, they've just kind of, you'll see one side of it where somebody has just come to a conclusion because they've been told it. It's on their social media. It's what their friends say. It's what their professors say at college. It's what their boss says at work, or whatever it is. And then you kind of question about the fundamentals or the foundation of that belief, and you can kind of see the brain stop comprehending like what's going on. It kind of, and that's when people start to do personal attacks and anything but talk about the fundamental thing about what's going on. And that's just a perfect example of how if you don't have a good grasp on the foundation and the fundamentals of, anything going on in your life, whether that is your beliefs, your values, why you feel the way you do, whatever it is, or the foundation work, might be building the discipline of, living within your means, not spending too much, being able to budget certain things, in your relationship, being able to communicate and being able to express yourself, but also being able to listen and pause and care about somebody else, maybe sometimes even more than you're caring about yourself in that moment. Because, honestly, like any good thing, it takes sacrifice. And, with any physical health, mental health, anything like that, if you're not taking care of the foundation, if you're not maintaining it and building it consistently, it will crumble away. It will crack. Things like your sleep habits, your nutrition, what you're eating, things like how you move your body. Do you get your heart rate up on a daily basis? Are you able to, be yourself and express yourself around the people that you love? These types of things, like the foundation, because if you don't have any of those things, any one of those things, if you don't have it figured out, there's no way to build on top of that. You have to have the foundation figured out first. And so, honestly, I feel like that's a pretty good place to wrap this up. It's going to be a short little episode this week that I hope you guys found informational or motivational or just entertaining at least. Maybe it just made you kind of ponder about things that you've got going on in your life. And if it did, then please share this episode with a friend, whether you're watching this on, YouTube or any podcast platform. Like, comment, subscribe, and please just take a second out of your day. Please, just right now, pull your phone out or whatever you're listening to this on. Leave a little review, rate it 5 stars, because those things really do help boost me in the algorithm. And on that note, yeah, share it, like it, comment, subscribe. Let's get engaged and let me know what you guys are interested in hearing about. On that note, I will catch you guys next Monday. Much love. Peace out. I love you all. Bye.